Coming up on OC News, Governor Brown signs one of the most emotionally charged pieces of legislation of the year. California will become the 5th state in the nation to allow terminally ill patients to legally end their lives.
And prices increase once again at the happiest place on earth. Disneyland says hello to a no blackouts pass that tops $1,000 a year.
Also, 4 high school students were arrested for plotting a killing spree at their own school. Their plan was to go on campus and kill as many people as possible.
And the rain may have stopped in South Carolina, but the danger to work to rebuild are far from over. Stay tuned for details on that, plus weather, sports, and health coming up. OC News starts right now.
Welcome to OC News. I'm Alexandra Wilson.
And I'm Donald Edmonds. OC News is brought to you by the broadcast journalism students at Cal State Fullerton. In breaking news, California joins 4 other states in having right-to-die legislation. Just hours ago, California Governor Jerry Brown signed into law ABX 215, also known as the End-of-Life Option Act. In signing the bill into law, Governor Brown noted that although he wouldn't know what he would do personally if he were dying in prolonged and excruciating pain, he would want to be able to consider options afforded to him by such a bill as this, and that he wouldn't want to deny that right to others.
Disney's top-level annual pass holders will have to shell out over $1,000 if they want to visit Disneyland or California Adventure anytime this year. The park now offers 2 top-level passes, the Signature Plus with no blackout days, which comes to $1,049, and the Disney Signature, good for visits about 350 days, which is $849. Both passes do come with additional benefits such as parking, discounts for dining and merchandise, and a new photo pass that allows pass holders unlimited digital downloads of photos taken of them meeting characters, walking around the park, and on rides. Disney also might be taking a cue from Uber and introducing surge pricing to its theme parks. Disney is reportedly considering a demand-based price structure in which tickets would cost less on slower days and cost extra or have more restrictions on busier days. Attendance at Disney parks have been at record levels in recent years thanks to the popularity of movies like Frozen and Star Wars. We will see how this affects the sales at Disneyland, although I'm sure it will continue to be the most magical place on earth. What do you think, Donald?
I personally think I'm going to go to Knott's Berry Farm this weekend. In other news, California authorities have arrested 4 high school students in Tuolumne, California, accused of plotting a school shooting. Authorities say administrators at Somerville High School contacted them Wednesday about 3 students who were making threats against other students and faculty. They investigated and discovered a 4th student who was involved in the plan. The 4 students were arrested on conspiracy charges Friday at their homes. They have not been identified because they are juveniles. As a number of individuals have indicated, this plot comes at the end of some of the transpirings in Oregon, where a gunman has also, at a Umpqua Community College, opened fire on students and causing a lot of malice there. On to weather. There was a downpour this weekend by a storm that has brought more than 20 inches of rain in some areas. Governor Nikki Haley has called this a 1,000-year level of rain that has claimed so far 9 lives and caused an unspecified amount of damages. Although the rains have stopped today, that only means for South Carolina residents that the work to rebuild begins. CNN's Yam Pomrez in South Carolina gives us the report.
Those that didn't listen, this is dangerous. This is very real.
South Carolina has experienced the kind of deluge that happens once every 1,000 years. And even once the rain dissipates, flooding will continue.
We are now, as we're seeing the rain lighten up and things lighten up a little bit, we are now going into assessment and recovery mode.
The weather has necessitated ongoing rescue operations. The South Carolina Emergency Management Division has responded to more than 2,700 calls since the rain began. More than 200 of those took place throughout the state over the weekend. including the dramatic chopper rescue of a mother and her infant daughter from a rooftop.
Don't be stupid. I mean, that's the thing. Keep saying, don't try to drive through flooded areas. You don't know how deep they'll be.
More than 500 roads and bridges across the state remain closed Monday. Residents who have been evacuated from their homes are being housed in temporary shelters. In Columbia, South Carolina, I'm Jan Pomerans reporting.
Fall has arrived. Cooler temps and a bit of rain has hit the OC area. Our own Alex Gomez has our weather forecast.
Thank you, Allie. Yes, so today's weather has definitely cooled down as opposed to last week when it was extremely hot. Today's compared to the high temperatures we had last week. We actually had a slight rain yesterday, which was at 0.05 inches, so that definitely helped with our drought that we have here in California. Let's take a look at the current temperatures right now. We're actually at a high of 73 and a low of 60 degrees with a nice cool breeze at 9 miles per hour. And the humidity is at 59%, so it's not too bad. For those of you who love this weather though, it's sadly not here to stay. The sun will be shining strong for the rest of the week. Let's look at the 5-day forecast. Temperatures are expected to be kind of in the mid 80s for Tuesday and Wednesday. Towards the end of the week, we're expecting high levels of humidity with a few overcast skies and still fairly hot weather. So the heat is coming back for those who enjoy the beach weather. That's perfect time to get out there. Let's look at the national weather for today. For LA, we actually have 63 degrees. In Dallas, we're at 61, and New Orleans at 69. For Chicago, we have 55. At the East Coast, New York, we're at 53. DC as well is 53, and in Miami, we're at 73 degrees. Let's take back to you, Donald. Thank you.
Thanks, Alex. So coming up after the break, fall weather is here. Find out how much flu season is actually going to cost us. And the French Riviera is also hit with floods and lots of damage, plus sports and entertainment still to come.
The men's rugby team hopes to make a statement.
This study abroad program includes a 4-day trip to Rome.
Welcome to Cal State Fullerton Report.
It's what powers our journey to reach unimaginable heights. It fosters a sense of yearning to create, explore, and soar. It strengthens our will to climb to the top. It's the bedrock of our conviction that nothing's impossible. It transforms us and sets us free to thrive and build lives of purpose. Titan pride is at the heart of who we are.
The flu may cost more than you think, and one of the most popular breakfast cereals is being taken off shelves. Here is health news with Jared Brass.
Getting the flu this season could be expensive. Not only is it bad for your health, but it could also be bad for your pocketbook. Here is CNN correspondent Karen Kafa with the details.
To the sneezing, the coughing, the aches, and the misery, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says the flu carries an economic toll for the nation every year. That includes $10.4 billion in direct medical expenses and $16.3 billion in lost earnings for sick employees. The flu can be particularly costly for households with young children who are most likely to become infected with the flu virus, the CDC says. They found that caregivers of children sick with the flu took on medical expenses between $300 and $4,000, depending upon the severity of the illness. For kids and adults, fighting fall and winter colds and flu can be made easier by putting certain items in the grocery cart. Yogurt's live cultures can help prevent colds. Mushrooms show promise in boosting immunity. Water and other fluids can help clean a cold out of your system. Hot peppers and spices can help clear sinuses. And honey can soothe an irritated throat. Flu season typically peaks between January and March, but the CDC warns the flu is unpredictable and timing varies every year. That's why they recommend getting a vaccine now in the fall. For Consumer Watch, I'm Karen Kafa.
Thanks, Karen. I guess I will be getting my flu shot soon. In other news, did you know that Cheerios are gluten-free? Well, neither did General Mills. The cereal company is recalling 1.8 million boxes of the cereal labeled as gluten-free. Issues offloading flour at a California facility may have caused the contamination of 4 days' worth of that factory's product. The company is in the process of converting 5 Cheerio varieties to gluten-free. This recall affects Honey Nut Cheerios and Classic Cheerios in the yellow box with a better if used by date of July 14, 2016. Company officials say they may contain wheat. General Mills ordered boxes still at warehouses and on the store shelves to be returned. They are asking customers with wheat allergies who bought the affected product to call the company at 1-800-775-8370. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Jared. The small building blocks that many of us parents have stepped on throughout the house, well, it's now a household brand. Yes, that's right, Lego is now one of the most valuable brands in the world. Here's Sunem Rivas with entertainment.
Thanks, Donald. A stalker delivered flowers to Charlize Theron on Sunday at her Hollywood Hills home. Police told TMZ that a man carrying a bouquet of flowers rang the buzzer at the actress's front gate. Charlize then told him to leave the flowers there, but the man refused to go unless he saw her face to face. Police were called and the man was arrested for stalking. Everything is so awesome at Lego. It's now one of the world's top 100 most valuable brands. The Danish toy maker broke into the top 100 list for the first time this week, according to research by consulting firm Interbrand. Researchers say Lego is a legacy brand that stays relevant by continually evolving. Lego is now the 83rd most valuable brand globally, bigger than Nokia, Gap, and Pizza Hut. It has 12,000 employees and is still owned by the family who founded it in 1932. The world's 3 most valuable brands are Apple, Google, and Coca-Cola. In today's Hollywood Minute, Hillary Clinton meets Hillary. A Star Wars fan drops $96,000 for Princess Leia's legendary bikini, and The Martian takes #1 at the box office this weekend. Here is Andy Rose with more.
Hillary Clinton came face-to-face with her SNL doppelganger.
Hey, bartender, keep them coming.
It didn't take long for the conversation to turn to Trump.
I want to be the one to take him down. I will destroy him and I will mount his hair in the Oval Office.
But Kate McKinnon wasn't the only one impersonating political figures on stage. Clinton herself got in on the fun.
Donald Trump? Isn't he the one that's like, you're all losers?
In the end, both Hillarys came together in song.
If we are wise.
Some lucky movie fan has their hands on a piece of Star Wars history. Princess Leia's iconic gold bikini from Return of the Jedi sold at auction for $96,000. The winning bidder was not named. The Martian blasted off to near record numbers this weekend, earning $55 million at the box office. Hotel Transylvania 2 came in second with $33 million. Action thriller Sicario finished third. For Hollywood Minute, I'm Andy Rose.
That's all for the world of entertainment today. Back to you, Allie.
Thank you. Find out what's happening around the globe and what's new in sports right after this short break.
This financial advisor is being accused of committing one of the largest investment frauds in the history of the United States.
I guess we're not going to Aspen. That's fine. You see, I like tennis balls. He likes insider trading. So he's going to jail and I'm going to a shelter. And no, they're not the same thing. Shelters are for good pets that want to be adopted. Jails are for criminals. I've done nothing. Uh-oh. Okay, I stole a cheeseburger once. I'm a dog.
A congressman looks to a new role and a tragedy strikes in Afghanistan. Here's Neha with more.
Congressman Jason Chaffetz has decided to run for Speaker of the House. He says he would bring a confrontational tone to the role of Speaker of the House if chosen, but says he will not continue to fight for the post if he loses an internal party vote this Thursday. In a wide-ranging interview, the Utah Republican tells CNN there needs to be a more inclusive style of leadership.
I'm going to make my best case in 5 short days to my colleagues and hope that I am victorious on Thursday. If I'm not, whoever the nominee is, I'll support the nominee. But it still doesn't change the math question, because I think there are too many of our members who will not vote for a member of our existing leadership team to simply get a promotion now that Speaker Boehner has stepped down.
And in the French Riviera, terrifying downpours flooded several areas, leaving at least 20 dead and 2 missing. A representative from the region's police says at least 20 people have been confirmed dead and 2 missing. As much as 7 inches of rain hit in a span of 3 hours, with reports stating 5 people died parking their car and 3 while drowning in their car after being trapped in a tunnel. French President Francis Hollande visited the area Sunday to meet with emergency workers as the search continues in the hardest hit areas. And a Doctors Without Border hospital in Kunduz, Afghanistan was struck accidentally after Afghan forces called for air support from the American military. The bombardment has sparked international outrage. The airstrike wounded 37 people, killed 12 medical staff members and at least 10 patients, with 3 of them being children. Every person who died at the hospital was Afghan, according to reports. Reports addressing reporters Monday at the Pentagon. Here is General John Campbell, commander of U.S. forces in Afghanistan.
We have now learned that on October 3rd, Afghan forces advised that they were taking fire from enemy positions and asked for air support from U.S. forces. An airstrike was then called to eliminate the Taliban threat, and several civilians were accidentally struck. This is different from the initial reports, which indicated that U.S. forces were threatened and that the airstrike was called on their behalf.
Doctors Without Borders calls the bombing a war crime and is demanding an independent investigation. President Obama says the Pentagon will carry out a full investigation.
The Los Angeles Dodgers have a lot to smile about headed into the weekend, and the San Diego Chargers play in a thriller at home. Here's Adrian Islas with the sports.
Thanks, Allie. The Los Angeles Dodgers closed out the regular season yesterday against the visiting San Diego Padres with a 6-3 victory. Riding a 4-game win streak, it's the 3rd consecutive year the boys in blue have finished with at least 90 wins. But it was Clayton Kershaw's quest to 300 strikeouts on the season that stole the show. Let's take a look at the action.
May only go 1 inning.
Kershaw was trying to become the first pitcher in 13 years to reach the 300 strikeout milestone, as he entered the game just 6 shy of hitting the mark. In the top of the first, he notched his first of the game, striking out Melvin Upton Jr. Later in the inning, he sends Yangervis Solarte back to the dugout for his 2nd strikeout. The very next inning, Kershaw records 2 more Ks as he leaves Clint Barnes staring and catches Austin Hedges swinging for the fences. Now in the top of the 3rd, Kershaw strikes out Travis Jankowski. 1 more to 300, and sure enough, he strikes out Melvin Upton Jr. yet again to join only Randy Johnson and Kurt Schilling as the only pitcher since 2000 to reach 300 strikeouts in a season. And having already won the National League West Division last week, the victory ensured the team home field advantage in their opening divisional playoff series versus the New York Mets. Game 1 of that series begins this Friday at Dodger Stadium with none other than Mr. 300 himself, Clayton Kershaw, taking the mound for Los Angeles. Switching over for a minute to collegiate sports, the Cal State Fullerton men's soccer team continued their hot streak this past weekend with a 1-0 victory over the visiting UC Davis Aggies. A late header by Nigel Patterson in the 88th minute secured the win for the Titans, giving the team a 2-0 start to Big West Conference play and pushing their win streak to 3 games. The Titans will look to continue their impressive play on the pitch this Thursday when they drive up the 57 freeway to take on the Poly Pomona Mustangs, followed by a trip up north where they'll take on the UC Santa Barbara Gauchos on Saturday.
Thank you, Adrian. Your thoughts are always appreciated. You can find us on Facebook at OC News CSUF. We are also on Instagram and Twitter, all under the handle of OC News CSUF.
Well, that wraps up today's edition of OC News. We'll see you back here on Wednesday at 5 p.m.
Have a terrific evening.